I'm sharing 2 fun die cut cards from Hero Art's All That release. Hey everyone, it's Joy here and welcome to my channel. Okay, I am starting with the Snack Attack die. Sorry guys. And I have die cut that twice because we're going to create 2 fun cards with this chip bag. Oh my gosh, these dies are so cute. The little potato chips are absolutely darling. I used cardstock from Spellbinders. I will have everything listed and linked for you guys below in the description. And I'm just adhering these little pieces together because I do want them popped up from the background piece. So I'm using 1mm foam adhesive and I'm going to add that layer to it. Then we're going to be using the snack layering stencil. That's for the bag and for the chips. Now there's 3 styles of chips. I am just going to be using 2 styles, but you can use 3. And again, they're so cute and so realistic. I just can't even get over how cute these chips are. So here is the stencil. I am doing the front of the bag. This is what we kind of glued together, and I am using worn lipstick. I already did the back of the bag, but I'm going to change that color to worn lipstick. I did it with an orange and I just didn't love it. I liked it more with this kind of corally pink. So that's one of those. I'm placing those on my grip mate, which just really holds everything down in place. And now we can work on the second bag. So let me just wash everything or get everything cleaned off. And then there's more images on there that you can stencil onto your bag, but I did not use those images. Okay, so here is the background piece. And so you can see where that lines up. And I'm going to do the outside edges with that. And then you can line it up again on that smaller piece. And it does like this inside stuff. So you won't see all of these little stenciled marks, but we will see the outer layers. So if I bring the other smaller piece in, you will see also where this same stencil right here is going to line up perfectly for the front layer of the bag, I guess I want to say. I'm going to use some Salvaged Patina and Twisted Citron on this one. I'm going to do obviously the Salvaged Patina on the blue and the Twisted Citron on the green. And I'm just using some sponge daubers to get that stenciled on. Okay, now we have our fun little areas of stenciling done on our bags. It gives us nice shading. Then we have our little chips here, our little Dorito type chips. And I'm going to use the stencil for these. And there's 2 stencils. There's 2 different types of chip. I die cut these chips from, let me see here. I may not even have written that down. I'm gonna have to figure that out, you guys, but I will have it listed and linked for you guys. I'm so sorry. I have the cardstock here, but I did not write it down. But I die cut it from like a yellowish cardstock, and then I am using Crackling Campfire to add our little dots, and then I'm going to lightly ink blend the edges so it gives you more of that orange like nacho chip look. But I'm just lining these up. They're not perfect, and it does not have to be, but they are so, so cute. I die cut a ton of these because I did want to have a ton of chips. You don't have to do it this way, but that is the way that I did it. So now you can see I'm just adding some of that ink. And then we can work on our little ruffle chips here that we're going to work on in just a minute. And then they have a die that's just like the regular smooth potato chip. I die cut these from scrapbook.com's Spice Smooth cardstock. So it has a little bit of a yellowish tan, and then I'm using antique linen with my stencil and just giving them a little bit of a stencil color, and then I'm going to lightly go back over them with that same color just to give more of that variation. These are so cute. Even my husband was like, those are really, really cute. Let me get the last few here, making sure I'm, getting it dark enough that you'll notice it. And then, no rhyme or reason, I'm just going to go around the edge of these chips and just give them a little bit of color. Nothing perfect, not as much as I did on like the little Dorito chips. Then in my Misty, I have the front of the bags, and I am using the Chip Chip Hooray stamp set. This one is going to say, excuse me, Nacho Average Friendship, which is so cute. And I want to do white heat embossing, so I prepped it with an anti-static powder tool. I'm going to sprinkle on my white embossing after I stamped it with my clear Versamark ink. It's an embossing ink. Then I'm going to bring my second one in, and this one says, "You're all that in a bag of chips." And I remember growing up, that was one of the big sayings, I think, when I was a teenager, which was really, really funny. So I'm going to center that using my Misty, of course. In the center of the front of that bag, I'm prepping it with my anti-static powder tool, inking up with my Versamark ink, and I'm going to do it 3 times. I think I just tend to do that. I want to make sure I get a really good ink coverage, so that way my white embossing has a good coverage. My heat tool is heating up off camera, and I'm going to just hold these little bags and heat them up with my heat tool, but I got some tweezers to keep my fingers out of the way. And you can see, even though it is sped up, it does melt it really fast when your heat tool is nice and hot. But how cute is this? Oh my gosh, these are so cute. Okay, for our backgrounds, I am so sorry about this stamp set. I did not realize they did not have this stamp set anymore. So just something polka dot. If that's what you have in your stash. This was Hero Arts, and I'm so sorry for using it. I didn't realize till I was making my list. So I'm going to ink that up with worn lipstick and stamp the background of the craft cardstock. And then last month's release, we have the wide stripe bold print stamp that I'm going to be using for my other background. I just thought it'd be fun. I love stripes and polka dots. I think they're just classic. And you can just use them on almost anything, I think. So I'm going to be using them for this card. So another piece of A2 size craft cardstock. And I'm going to have my stripes running vertically. I'm going to line that up on the right side of my Misty to make sure everything's nice and straight. And then I'm going to ink this up with Salvaged Patina. And it's going to look a little worn. And if you notice, even my polka dots weren't perfect. I actually don't mind that. I liked that. It did not need to be perfect to me. But I will say this would also be cute with white heat embossing with the stripes and the polka dot. That would be really cute for a background too. So I'm going to ink that up one more time, give it a press, and then we have both of our backgrounds done. And I do trim these down slightly smaller than an A2 size card. Let's put these guys together. Remember, we added 1mm foam adhesive behind the front of our chip bag here, and I like that to give it a little bit of dimension. And how cute are those? Oh my gosh. And then I'm going to do one more layer of foam adhesive, 1mm behind the chip bag themselves, and then we can start placing our chips in the bag and around the bag. And I'm just going to put these on a tilt. It just feels a little bit more playful. Cute, cute. Okay, so here's our darling little chips. Oh my gosh, they are so cute. So some of them are going to have foam adhesive. Some of them are not going to have foam adhesive. I am using 2mm foam adhesive squares that I have in my stash, and I'm just going to start placing these potato chips like they're kind of flying out of the bag, which I think is really cute. So you really can see how darling these little chips are. And then, because I have this popped up, I mean, you could do it if it wasn't popped up, but having it popped up looks like that is the opening to the bag. And so I can also slide some of those chips down in there for that reason, and also because my foam adhesive doesn't go all the way up to the top. So if you're going to be placing them in there, think ahead that way so you can slide some potato chips in. Don't they look so real? They are so cute to me. I cannot get over. I remember when I was a little kid, I just loved miniature sized play food that, you know, I think a lot of girls, you know, played kitchen or restaurant or whatever it is that you played, and you had like miniature sized foods, things of food. And I just loved it. So this kind of reminds me of that. I cut one of those chips in half because you're not going to see the whole thing, but you can see part of it. And then I'm going to have 3 chips here on the bottom. Let's do the same for our next bag. How cute is that? Oh my gosh, I love it. So the same thing, and I just like to lay my stuff out ahead of time. I have to visually see it before I know that it's going to be good. I think some people have quite the talent that they can visualize it when it's not there. My brain is not built like that. I absolutely need to see what it looks like, and then I can start putting it together. But don't these, they make me hungry. They look so good and so real. I can't even get over these. So again, some are going to have some foam adhesive, some will not. We're just going to tuck them in and around. And I'm actually going to have a few more chips out of the bag at the bottom on this card, just so it's a little bit different. And so just tweezers are your best friend for this. They keep your fingers out of the way, especially on these smaller dies, and you can tuck things in and get them in where they need to be. A little bit easier than just using your hands. So a little bit more of that, tuck those in. Kind of, I want to obviously have them overlap other chips, and some won't, but I want most of them to overlap each other because it gives it that fuller look as well. And then we've got a couple here, and then let's glue these ones on here. And I do want to finish this off, the cards off, with a little bit of white pops of color. They're also adhered to a white A2 size card base. Remember I said I trimmed the card panels down a little bit smaller than an A2 size. So just this little pop of white brightens everything up and gives you a little something extra to look at. You could do white gems if you wanted to as well. But look at how cute this chip bag is. Oh my gosh. I love these. They are so darling. This is the All That from the All That collection from Hero Arts. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.